What's up, vaqueros, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering the #1 shotgun on my shotgun ranking list, the Expedite 12. And a lot of you people might be thinking, okay, that's kind of bizarre. Why this shotgun? Why not the Bryson 800 or, the 725 2.0? Well, there's a reason for that. And even though my class is going to seem a little unorthodox for a lot of people, I promise you it works wonders and it's going to be really, really consistent and really, really good. This class itself is going to be focused on one-shot kills, which for a spammy sort of shotgun is unheard of, but yes, this is a one-shot kill build at good range too. And so if you want to go to that part of the video, go ahead and skip to that. But otherwise, listen to me real quick, and I just want to say something about the gun. And what I want to say is that this thing is not really your typical spammy shotgun. If you're going into this thing using it like it's the Origin 12 or the Jack 12 or something like that, it's just not going to be as good. You're going to get a lot of hit markers. The shotguns in this game are very unforgiving when it comes to hip firing. Of course, you can have a really tight hip fire, but to me, the best way to go about using these shotguns is to aim down sights, and this gun is no different. Aim down sights like crazy, and that's why we're going to kit this thing out in a little bit of a different way than you might expect. So with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and get into the class. This is my one-shot kill setup for the Expedite 12, and I promise you it looks weird, but I'm going to get into why it's great. So first of all, you'll notice that there is no barrel attachment. The reason for that is most of these barrels hurt either your damage range or they hurt your ammo capacity. One of the good ones is the Battle Master, but of course, you'll notice that since it has that weird tube at the end of it, you can't actually use any muzzle attachment. The same with the shorty barrel. I don't really recommend them that much, but they are good for, I guess, maybe a hipfire build, but like I said, I don't recommend that with this particular gun, albeit it's really, really tempting. One thing to note though, if you do want to rock a barrel, you can get more range out of the gun, which I don't really think it's necessary since it already has a great one-shot kill of about 10.4 meters. So once you put on a barrel and you increase that damage for the tuning, you can get out to about maybe a 10.8 meter one-shot kill. It's a little bit better, but it's not amazing. It's already great, so I would just say it's not worth it and just stick to other attachments to help with your aim down sight speed and your sprint to fire speed. So with that out of the way, let's get into some of the other attachments like the choke. For me, the Bryson choke is always my go-to for most of these shotguns. Why? Because it has the most condensed pellet spread out of all of the other different chokes, and you can do a tuning on it to get more damage range out of it, so it helps. Now the Bryson improved choke is the next best one, and it gives you a little bit more range. Since it's already giving you a range boost, you can get even more from it than the Bryson choke. But for me, in consistency's sake, I like using the Bryson choke and increasing that pellet spread as much as I can so it's nice and tight and it makes it very, very consistent. Now there are suppressors we can use, and if you want to get the most range out of the gun, you want to use the SAMX50 suppressor. That will give you the best boost to your one-shot kill and ranges. This is a really good suppressor, but it also weighs down your aim down sights time by quite a bit. So again, it's one of those things, I don't think it's really worth the trade-off unless you're maybe someone who likes to kind of play a little bit more stationary or pre-aim a lot, which is nice in this game, I will say, but overall I think it's much more important to have a really quick aim down sight speed, as you'll see. Now also, if you equip this suppressor with one of the barrels like the Emperor barrel and tune that for range, you can take your one-shot kill out to about 12 meters, but again, that's really going to be sacrificing your aim down sight speed, so you're not really going to be getting those consistent one-shots. And yes, even though the range is good, you're going to have to be pre-aimed, which just in my opinion isn't a really fun way to play, but it does work. So if you want to play like that, just know that if you want the most range, use the SAMX50 with one of the barrels tuned for range, and then that'll give you the best one-shot kill you can get. Next up, for the more accessory type of attachments, we have the lasers, and I'm going to be rocking the VLK 7 milliwatt. Again, this is weird because it's a aim down sight speed focused laser rather than a hipfire accuracy laser. Now the other alternative here is the Point G3P04. That is for a much tighter hipfire spread as well as sprint to fire speed, but the 7 milliwatt gives you a much faster aim down sight speed, and it gives you literally almost basically the same sprint to fire speed bonus as the other laser here, the Point G3P. And if you want to rock a more hipfire focused build, then don't be afraid to use the Point G3P laser. The only hipfire laser I would stay away from is the Stouffville tack laser, as the benefit to your hipfire accuracy isn't nearly as good, but the rest for hipfire are very, very similar. We're talking like so similar you can't really even tell the difference in how tight it is. So if you want a hipfire laser, just use the Point G3P. If you want to aim down sights like me, use the VLK LZR 7 milliwatt. The next two attachments I will kind of lump together, and that is the stock and the rear grip. Basically, I'm using the resonance stock collapsed and the Schlager void grip. These both are going to help with your sprint to fire speed and your aim down sight speed, so you're going to have a nice snappy gun, and that really is the way to go with this, I promise you. Now also, the last attachment is the most important one, or one of the most, and that is the Expedite L-bolt, because that is going to help with your fire rate. Really, there's no reason not to rock this. There's no real benefit to using the other one other than recoil control, which isn't really going to be that much of an issue with this type of gun since you're going for one-shot kills. So always have the Expedite L-bolt on no matter what. Even with slugs, I have a feeling this is going to be a go-to attachment. Now, in the off chance you do want to focus more on hip firing and kind of avoid what I'm saying and you're just like, nah, I'd rather just hip fire, that's totally fine. I get the urge to. If that's the case, then I would say to ditch the 7mm laser, use the point G3P, and then ditch that rear grip so you can equip one of the underbarrel grips, such as the VX Pineapple grip, because what these can allow you to do is tune your hip fire accuracy. So if you tune for hip fire accuracy in a tight pellet spread with the choke, you can get a ridiculously tight hip fire spread, which is really nice. But in my opinion, or at least in my experience, having a super tight hipfire spread can be very damning because you have to be so precise with your hipfire, and I'd rather just aim down sights and then have my hipfire as sort of a follow-up, so I don't have to be kind of as accurate. So if I miss my aim down sight shot, you know, it takes another shot, I can just hipfire, hit a pellet or so, and then get the kill rather than having to hipfire like 3 or 4 times. So if you do want to rock that hipfire build, go with the grip, go with that point G3P laser, and go with the choke, and really, really tighten that hipfire reticle. As for the tuning, well, there's only really one to tune, and that is the Bryson choke, and for that, I recommend just putting it all the way up at tighter pellet spread and putting it all the way to the right for a damage range. You're not going to really hurt your aim down sight speed enough to matter because you're going to have such a snappy aim down sight speed anyway, and the sprint to fire speed is already going to be pretty good, so I really don't think it's necessary to have to kind of mediate. Just go all out, tight pellet spread, and damage range. And there you have it, guys. That is my build for consistent one-shot kills with the Expedite. Again, this is a gun that's a little bit misunderstood. Just because it shoots faster than the others doesn't make it a Jack 12 or an Origin 12. You really do need to be precise with this thing, and you can tell because they gave this gun a 10-meter one-shot kill. What semi-auto has a 10-meter one-shot kill, or at least a shotgun? That's insane. So if you want to take one thing from this video that's important, just know that this gun plays differently than that. You have to be precise, and that's why aiming down sights is so important, and you'll hear me say that a lot. Aim down sights, aim down sights. It's just the thing with these shotguns, I swear, it makes them so much better. So just know that hip firing is okay, it's still viable, but to be really consistent, aiming down sights is a must. But I've said that enough. I want to know down below in the comments, what do you guys think of this build, and what do you think of the Expedite 12? We talked about it some in my other video where I ranked the shotguns, and this is my #1 pick for the best shotgun for a few reasons like you've just seen. So let me know what you guys think about it. I want to hear some input. Do you think that the Lockwood 300 is actually the best one? And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next shotgun video.
UAV standing by.